boost my rating, my speed, my power. Y'all tripping.
I need my speed up, at least a 93.
Man, y'all really disrespectful. I just want y'all to know that y'all got my strength 65 like I ain't moving people. I got something for y'all though. Stay in tune.
Yeah, man, I ain't got no beat. We're good.
Y'all need up my rating. My overall rating should be better, and my speed. Raise my rating. I don't even know what it is, but raise it.
Man, that should be higher than the 79.
Strength 99, speed 99. That's it.
Yeah, I'm the best player on this team in Madden, okay? Anybody want smoke, send it. They know exactly what that means.
I might get lucky.
Come on, Chad. I know you control that.
Tune in. My overall probably gonna be like a 58 because I'm a rookie. I get it, but give it a couple years.
Add the freaking long snapper.
Stop playing with my rating. Put me at a 90 and above, bro.
I ain't no 70-something either.
That's what I'm saying.
Players have a lot to say to Madden, and now I want to look up Kamaguruje Hill's rating because he was totally fine with his Madden rating, which came as a bit of a surprise. But you know what? Here we are on day 14 of training camp at the Houston Methodist Training Center. It's Training Camp Live, presented by Xfinity. I'm your host, DP Sidhu, along with my good friend Drew Doherty, and game day is just a few days away. It's the last practice this team will have tomorrow morning. They'll be off for Green Bay, and you know what? After today, I think reps will be decided, according to head coach David Culley. He addressed the media this morning. It's not because of just today's practice, but because of a culmination of the past 2 weeks of practice. They'll know exactly who'll be playing and probably for how long in Saturday's game against the Packers as the preseason kicks off. Be sure to tune into that Saturday night, ABC 13, or on the Houston Texans mobile app. And Drew Doherty over here will also be on the sidelines.
Yes, I will. We're back after no preseason in 2020. ABC 13, KTRK, me on the sidelines, but up calling the action will be Kevin Kugler doing the play-by-play, and Spencer Tillman, our good pal. Good pals with both of them, but good to see those guys up in the booth. It's going to be a fun one. Tyrod Taylor likely going to start. You see him there, number 5 in the red shirt. And he is playing in Green Bay. A little bit later in this program that you're watching now, we'll have a Green Bay native in Max Scharping, the offensive lineman. I went one-on-one with him, and we cut some things up and discussed some things.
The cussing happened
He
off
did
camera.
not cuss. No, he's a good guy. Max is, I'm sure, never said a cuss word in his life. He's that great a guy.
We met his parents up in Green Bay a couple
They're
years
awesome.
ago.
How great are they?
What a great family.
They deserve a producer credit, as you'll see here in the thing that we'll show in just a moment. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. We'll get into that in just a little bit, but we'll also take your questions, so send them in. Let us know from where you're sending them. We always want to hear how you're doing, where you're sending them in from, because we've got a worldwide audience, and it's always cool to hear and wonder where people are sending their stuff in from. And there's Davis Mills.
Davis Mills probably get his first preseason action on Saturday against Green Bay. He's excited, looking forward to it, as are all the rookies. And you know what, there were some rookies last year that didn't get this preseason action, so it is going to be valuable, even though there's one less game. Only 3 games this preseason, 2 on the road, 1 at home against Tampa Bay. That'll be in a few weeks here. But David Culley was asked about that 3 versus 4 preseason games. He says that final week of camp, when they would have prepared for that 4th preseason game, they'll just work against themselves. So they'll still get all the work in, but it is good to see live game action. And I'm excited to see how some of these rookies and some of these new pieces do when they get out on the field, Drew.
Me too, DP. And it's something, you just brought up something, it reminded me, we talked about it, I think maybe once or twice early on in camp. But Texans are playing on Saturday night. Basically, the rest of the league is too, basically this weekend. And then on Tuesday, the league they all have to cut from 90 players on the roster down to 85. So starting Wednesday, there's only going to be 85 players out there practicing, or 85 players on each roster. And then next Saturday, a week from Saturday, Texans are at the Cowboys. Come back from Arlington, and that next Tuesday it goes from 85 to 80. And then the final preseason game, which is here at NRG Stadium on Saturday night, basically 2 weeks from this Saturday, they wrap up the schedule with the Buccaneers, and then it goes down to 53. So it goes 90 to 85, 85 to 80, 80 to 53. So it's a different cut structure than we've seen in years past. It was usually 90 to 75, down to 53. But now it's a little bit more structured. There's less at a time, and it kind of happens a little more quickly.
I mean, it's still a really big roster that you're traveling with through the preseason, but I think it's good for the teams in the sense that you have a lot more players at your access, because a lot of these starters aren't going to play the entire game. So
Mm-hmm.
it's great rotation for some of the younger guys to get some film out there.
Yeah.
I think last year that was something that a lot of these free agents didn't have the luxury of having some preseason action to have some game film. So it'll be good for some of these players, because even if they don't wind up with the Texans, they'll wind up with another team. And likewise, the Texans could still end up signing some players from other teams depending on how they do in preseason elsewhere if they don't make the team. And speaking of some transactions, the Texans made a few yesterday. They added running back Darius Jackson, They waived wide receiver Damon Hazelton, and they placed Bradley Roby on the reserve COVID list. And David Culley was asked about that. We've not seen Bradley Roby in practice the last few days. He said no major symptoms. He's doing fine, but of course they have to take the necessary precautions. So, everyone else appears to be back out there, but you'll see some new faces out at practice. Nick Caserio still adding a lot of depth to this roster while he can before these cuts have to take place.
Boy, I've got all sorts of notifications on my computer going off, and for that I apologize, friends. I'm going to turn the volume off on that because, hey, this is live internet TV, but yeah,
He's an important man.
We
That's
keep
what he
rolling.
wants
No,
everyone
it's
to know.
kind of like overdone or overdue stuff that I didn't turn off, so that's on me. She's trying to pump me up, fake.
Andy's
in
always
a
running late.
pretend way, but no. We got questions coming from fans, which is
get to
always
them.
fun, and we're going to start things off. Benjamin wants to know, will Deshaun Watson go to Green Bay? Doesn't sound like it, based on what we heard from GM Nick Caserio yesterday when he was on with Sports Radio 610, or when we heard from head coach David Culley. So, no, probably not going to see Deshaun Watson in Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's going to be a big question. He has been out there at practice.
Mm-hmm.
He was dressed in full pads, but we have not seen him do anything in 11-on-11 or team
Right.
drills yet. So I think that'll have to happen first before you even have a chance that you might see him travel and play in a preseason game.
Yeah. All right. It's time to get to that Max Scharping one-on-one. It's all part of a Drew's Dozen. Here's a snippet of our conversation. Drew Doherty here with Green Bay native Max Scharping. Texans 1 week from tonight going to be playing against your hometown team. Who's going to be the loudest member of your family up in the stands?
My mom,
Your mom?
100%.
What sort of stuff is she going to scream?
God only knows.
Are they? I mean, it's not embarrassing because it's your mom, but is it on the verge of embarrassing sometimes?
No, I'm good. I mean, I've had it all the way since high school. So they used to televise our high school games, and my parents always sat in the top row right underneath like the press box where they were filming. So all of my extended family, if they watched, could hear my mom and dad screaming.
What were they yelling?
I don't know. I never listened. I was playing, so I have no idea.
How many people from your family are going to be at this game? Because last time we were there, which was 2 years ago, there was a big section of Scharpings.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it will be as big, but I'm quite sure a lot of people will be there. So I don't want to give a guesstimate, but it might be pushing 100 again.
That's awesome. Your mother and father probably deserve producer credits for the preseason game that we did 2 years ago, because they told us, A, where they were going to be, but B, where they're going to pregame beforehand at the House Caddy Corner. We got some nice footage there. Shout out to the Scharpings. We appreciate you. Checks in the mail, courtesy of not me. Okay, football-wise, how are you different as a player right now versus what we saw in 2020?
I think it's just, every single off-season and training camp, you're trying to work on a couple things. And we had more time in the facility this year. Yeah. And with, a new O-line coach coming in, it's just a little bit a change of you kind of look inwards and then outwards to the whole group as well. And I think, Coach Campion's doing a great job of just telling us, what we should be working on each day, and then as a unit, how we can collectively get better every single day, because offensive line is 5-1, not 1-5. So.
And how enthused and how optimistic are you that this offensive line will be better? Because there's a lot of differences. There's still some similarities, but it does look on paper like you guys are going to be better.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Obviously, going into the year, that's what we're aiming for. Obviously, you always want to get better. So, hopefully, as a group, we can gel, find our spots, everyone where we're going to end up going into week 1 of Jacksonville.
Is it interesting playing for Coach Campen now, knowing that he was the O-line coach there in your hometown for all that? I mean, I don't know that there are many assistants that had longer tenures with the Packers than he did.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's probably the longest. And we've talked about it. Actually, the first time I spoke with him, he he brought it up. He was like, "Oh yeah, which high school did you guys go to?" And he was like, I was like, "Oh, Southwest." He was saying his daughters went to Bayport, which is the powerhouse now in Green Bay. So I was like, "Oh man, no, I'm kidding." But no, so it was cool. Obviously it's nice to be able to relate to your coach and have something to talk about, get to know them on a personal level. So that way your relationships gets better on and off the field.
He's a big wrestling fan. If you were a wrestler, what would your signature move be?
Oh gosh.
Are you a wrestling fan at all? Were you?
I was never actually a big wrestling fan, so I don't really know.
Let's move on.
Come on, you could make one. What do you think?
To the max. I'll go that.
To the max, so just all the way up and down.
Yeah, it's not very creative as choppers go by. Yeah, they're not looking for us. They moved on.
Good.
It's good. Hey, do you really have 3 puppy dogs, or did you recently get 3 puppy dogs?
We did recently get 3 puppy dogs, and I think at home currently there are 5 dogs at the house.
Whoa, how come?
So we are starting, slowly starting, but we're going to start a foundation and a rescue called Stay Sharp Rescue. So look it up if you guys want.
SCHARP, not just
SCHARP, like the last name. So that's, it's really cool. My fiance and I, my fiance Cass, we're huge animal lovers, and we've both had dogs our whole life, so we're starting with dogs. And we were originally just looking for a puppy just to have for ourselves, and we stumbled upon our first puppy that we ended up with, Briggs, and she, along with her 6 siblings, were found living underneath a house up in, I think it was like Spring area. So we ended up fostering 3 of them and moving them on to different houses. And we just kind of kept going from there. Just kept on trying to foster and find puppies good houses.
That's wonderful, man. Congratulations on that. Well, we got to wrap this up, but stay sharp, SCHARP. That's cool. So, holy cow, 5 puppies. You sleep at night?
Yes, actually, very well. They're very good puppies. So
Right.
we got them crate trained, so that was key.
Well, Max, we got to get you together with the punter, Cameron Johnson, because he's involved as well.
We have talked, actually. We have talked, so we're already in cahoots.
Not a surprise. This is one of the smartest members in the building, so of course he's 7 steps ahead. Hey, Max, always good talking with you. Can't wait to see you out on the field, and best of luck.
Appreciate you, Drew.
Max Scharping entering year 3. Gosh, it makes me want to have another night practice, especially seeing how hot it is out there tonight. That was a fun practice. And you know what? Max Scharping, always a fun guy to catch up with. I'm very curious to see and very eager to see him along with this new revamped O-line and James Campen. It seems like these O-linemen have really gelled and they're really putting that chemistry together. A lot of rotation still happening there on the O-line, so stay tuned throughout the preseason.
It's a good point you make and plays perfectly into this question from Hannes in Iceland. What's up, Hannes? Good to see you. What do you guys think the starting O-line will look like week 1? I don't know, but from what we've seen so far, left to right, you got Laramie Tunsil, he's your left tackle. Left guard could be Scharping, could be Titus Howard. Could be Justin McCray. It looks like Justin Britt's got that center position locked up. Then at right guard, you could be Justin McCray, could be Max Scharping, could be Titus Howard. And then at right tackle, maybe Charlie Heck, probably Titus Howard, probably one of those guys. Marcus Cannon still hasn't practiced, but you think he's got to figure into the mix, the equation at some point, maybe even Roderick Johnson. So there's lots of debate, but that's what I would go with so far.
Yeah, and I think they want to see how these players do in preseason action as they do their rotations. And then probably after these preseason games, they'll set their lineup. And I think they want to make sure, they want to see who can play at what position because they want to get the best starting 5 out there. So if Titus Howard is one of the best 5 offensive linemen, they'll find a way to get him on the field, whether it's at right tackle or left guard or right guard, and so on and so forth with the rest of the guys. But I think Laramie Tunsil at left tackle and Justin Britt at center, those are probably the 2 that you can count on. And I think the rest are really still open, Drew. I do. I think it's still very much a competition. It's been interesting because what we thought we knew heading into this training camp, things have shifted a bit as we've been watching practices and seeing guys rotate with the 1s and the 2s. All right, Paul wants to know, what running back do you feel will get the most attention in the group? And I don't know if Paul is referring to the preseason or just in general when the regular season starts, but I guess we can answer it both ways. I think in the regular season, you're going to see a lot of Mark Ingram and Philip Lindsay.
Yep.
I think Philip Lindsay is obviously very exciting to watch. Mark Ingram, the veteran of the group. You've got David Johnson out there. We've seen what he can do. But, Mark Ingram really seems to be that veteran back, and he's had his experience with Coach Culley up in Baltimore. So, I really see him emerging as sort of the leader of that group. But you know what? Through preseason, I think there might be some other names that you might want to watch out for. Dontrell Hilliard, who wears number 22, has really been a standout in camp so far. He's been getting a lot of carries and a lot of reps, in addition to the other guys in that running backs group. So watch out for him.
Yeah, and then preseason-wise, as far as attention, you brought up a nice distinction there in that answer, DP. I think you're got to look out for Buddy Howell and Scotty Phillips.
That's true.
Scotty Phillips especially has gotten a lot of carries now. It's going to be a tough road to hoe as far as making this team because of the veterans and because of all the experience they have. But yeah, those two guys are certainly going to get their share of carries, I bet you, in Green Bay, in Arlington, and then back here against the Buccaneers in 2 weeks.
All right, Jerry in Germany. It's either Jerry in Germany or Gary in Germany with a G. Will there be a mix-up of players during the preseason game, or do we try out our starting groups? That's a great question. I think, and this is just me thinking, that at least for the opening drive or two, you might see most of the starters. You may not see them in their actual position. Like, I think the O-line could still move around a bit, but I think you'll see a majority of the starters because I think they definitely want to see their starting ones out there for a little bit of action. Now, if it's 3 and out for the offense, say, I could see them coming out for another series because you definitely want to get those guys in a rhythm. Same thing with the defense, with the defense, if they're 3 and out, maybe that's it for them. I don't know. But I think you do see the starters out there at the beginning of the game. But I think that'll change very quickly as they start rotating other guys in because obviously it's preseason and you want to keep everyone healthy. And
good answer. I can't really answer that better. It was nicely done. And German Texan, who I don't think is Jerry in Germany, has this. What's Bradley Roby's status? Some kind of tough news yesterday. Bradley Roby's on the COVID list. David Culley was asked about it this morning and asked about how he's doing. And supposedly, or he says that he's not getting hit too hard by COVID right now, but he's got to be out, and we'll see how he responds to it. So he's not in there. Not going to see him this weekend, most likely. And I'm guessing he's quarantining or whatever he's dealing with that. But he has gone on the COVID list, so he'll come back off hopefully sooner rather than later. DP.
Yeah, it's good news that his symptoms are mild, or at least no major symptoms, is what David Culley had told us today. So it's going to be something to watch for as the season continues, because that certainly is still going to be a factor. Guys are getting tested regularly. We all are getting tested regularly, and that's how you end up finding out, really, even if you don't have any symptoms. All right, there you see some stretches. Davis Mills leading the group. You've got Christian Kirksey there.
Roger Johnson.
I'm really proud of myself for learning these numbers too because it's
Alex
not been
Erickson,
easy.
and 14. Roger Johnson, 63.
Roger Johnson, number 63. Yes. Jeff
Titus,
Driscoll, number
71.
6.
There we go.
Rex Burkhead, number 28.
Hey, there's Roy Lopez, number 79. Roy Lopez is having a great camp. I mean, as a rookie, as a veteran, doesn't matter who he is, he's playing really well. He's been given the O-line fits there at the defensive tackle, nose guard position. I mean, he is somebody on the interior that if he keeps doing what he's doing right now, look out. Texans have found a steal. So number 79, Roy Lopez, playing well. I took a picture of him before he took a session with the media in. I sent it to our old pals, Nick Scurfield and Sean Cody. Sean Cody, of course, played the position, and he responded with, nice hoop game. And I thought, what? He's talking about basketball? And then I zoomed in, and Roy Lopez has a hoop earring.
That's
and
immediately
Sean
where
Cody
my brain
had
went
hoop
when he said
earrings
hoop game.
too. So
Immediately I thought of
yeah.
hoops. But yeah, he's got the wrestling background. His dad's a high school coach out in Arizona, so he works with his D-line out there. And you know what? I think this coaching staff's been really impressed with them so far. They've been trying to temper their enthusiasm for the rookies, obviously, because it's a long way to go. But Roy Lopez is really flourishing in that D-line group, and I think it's a great group of guys that he's getting a chance to learn from. Excited to see him in the preseason as well as you see him warming up. Deshaun Watson there as well, dressed. Tyrod Taylor, you've got the quarterbacks out there. Number 9, Brevin Jordan, another rookie that we've heard a lot from this preseason, making some tremendous catches there in team and 7-on-7. So excited to see him get his first preseason action as well. And that's all coming to you this Saturday night on ABC 13. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. You can download the Houston Texans mobile app if you are not in the viewing area, and you can watch and listen along on Sports Radio 610 as well. So that's going to do it for Training Camp Live, presented by Xfinity. We thank you so much for watching. Check out our press conferences, our stories, highlights, all that and more after today's practice up on HoustonTexans.com. And want to thank everyone that's worked so hard on this show. Caroline Jordan, Einald Leibowitz, Amanda Caffey, Jay McDevitt, Alex Lozano, Mitchell Moreland, Drew Doherty, and myself. On behalf of all of us, thank you so much for watching. And as always, go Texans.